Well then, didn't necessarily expect to see you guys so shortly. I mean, I wasn't even thinking about even doing anything quite like this for a while now. I mean, Jesus, like where have we even been? I mean, where on earth do we even begin? First of all, even though we're nearly 2 months into this year, I may as well say Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, because this is actually going to be my first video that's actually gone public in just under 2 months. And while we're on the subject of New Year's, I know this seems like a bit of a hold hat to talk about this sort of thing right now, but I don't even know why I'm even bothering to ask this, but does the phrase like New Year's resolution even still crop up in people's lexicon nowadays? I mean, how often do like people like really do stick to like these sort of things, or what exactly do they do next, or what is the next step in all this? Do we just sort of like talk about it until we eventually stop talking about it? What's logically the point in which we stop or where we start again? I say that, ladies and gentlemen, because so far this year, for me at least, has been all gas and no brakes. And I'll come to explain it to you guys exactly how this came to be. Now, to begin with, I have started on a very, very important diet. I have completely cut all carbonated drinks, crisps, chocolate, cheese snacks, all of that rotten shite completely out of my diet. I've been doing that since the year began. You know, apart from one day this year, I have completely abstained from alcohol as well, and we are now are we on, like our 55th day of 2021, and I've gone one day, I've had one bit of alcohol in that entire period, which is, I think, because I use the phrase I've been going sober now for like such and such days and this and that. I was never at any point before an alcoholic, but it sounds a bit more impressive, doesn't it, to say that you've gone this far without needing a drink. Ironically, and this is something I have to relent to you guys as well, but when I did have my first drink, I think it was just about like on Shrove Tuesday when I had it. It was not anything special. It was just sort of like, well, this is it, and I didn't miss it before, and I certainly don't miss it now, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. When you've gotten used to having something day in, day out, and all of a sudden you go a few days without it, and listen, I know it's probably different for other people, you know, to get stuff like, you know, the withdrawal, the shock, the stuff like that. But for me, it's just kind of like being, whatever. And I suppose maybe it'll be different again if I ever did something like as radical as this 20 years down the line, whether or not I will get withdrawal, will get shocked. But then again, maybe the solution is very simple: don't get addicted to things. I know that. Listen, I know that is very, very much easier to say than do, and I don't want to convey any impression that I'm trying to like discredit or in any way do people a disservice who are dealing with addictions. That's just not what I do. But I'll tell you what it is, what I've been doing, ladies and gentlemen, because this week marks exactly 30 weeks I have been in work. 7 whole months this Monday I've been in work. And it's already not only been the longest period of my life where I've been in work continuously since July 22nd of last year, but I've also grinded and literally grafted the very skin of my backside off. Do you know how many hours I do at work, ladies and gentlemen, just at my main job? I do 58 hours Monday to Saturday. That's 10 hours from Monday to Friday and an extra 8 hours on the Saturday. And I still deliver papers in that, so that takes like about an hour or so to deliver like two rounds in just like 1 hour. So realistically, you're sort of looking almost at 65-hour week of getting paid for something, which, for what it's worth, you'd say that's not a bad gig in any way, shape or form. And I make no mistake that I am very, very proud of this achievement, because why not be proud of it? It's just the sort of thing you expect, or the sort of thing you just get used to when you get older. You're sort of like, you're not so much required to get a job, but you get the feeling as if like you want to move on with your life. You want to start becoming financially independent and, you know, a lot more, you know, reliable and more grown up, I think is the way I could say it. That's the thing that's also like changed in these last 55 days, is that it's amazing how much growing up anybody does in a period of time. And I'm not talking about things that have actually been achieved that can relent to the idea of growing up, but just things that changing your behavior and changing your attitude is one of the things I'm talking about. Case in point, since we are now in the season of Lent, and we are officially 7 days into the season of Lent. Now, I'll just remind some of you guys who may not be in the light about all these sort of things. Since this will be the 10th year in a row that I have actually given up meat for Lent. It all started back when I was 13, and when I said this to my family that I'm going to give up meat for Lent, they thought I had completely lost my mind. They thought there was no way somebody, for a carnivore like me, I was going to go even so much as a few hours without having some meat. But you know what? I proved them all wrong, and I did it. And I did it for the next 9 years as well. But to sort of like, for me, celebrating this 10-year anniversary of this very admirable sort of like change, I guess you could say, I decided to go a lot further than just meat. We're talking about meat, fish, and along with everything else, like fizzy drinks, alcohol, all of that stuff, completely gone. I am living completely by a fruit and vegetable based diet, only surpassed by quantities and bucket loads of water. Lemon and lime sparkling, you know. I always make sure to do my best to sort of like just check the labels on these anyway, because, you know, sparkling doesn't always mean, you know, it's like crystal clear, or, you know, it's not laced with some horrid chemical or whatever. And it's also, it's fascinating, ladies and gentlemen, this sort of, because I do not miss eating meat or fish in any which way, shape or form. It's just, once you go away for a few days, it's completely, you have no problem with missing these sort of things at all. Although I must say right now, I think it's very, very different if you're doing these sort of things voluntarily, as opposed to having absolutely no choice, and if you were underfed from the very beginning. I can't necessarily say the same. My metabolism has been, by my point of view, remarkably healthy. If there is such a thing as having a healthy metabolism, I don't know about that. I'm not a doctor, so like, don't quote me on these sort of things, but whatever. But while we're on the subject of Lent, some things that also, to the uninitiated, some what may go over some people's heads is that, for the most part, it's not really it's not really about what you give up. It's about what else you do, what you are doing extra in your day-to-day life. And to that end, I'm speeding up production for my big return. And I'm even dedicating time to reading the Bible. There's a part in like these I'll show you guys what I mean. There we go. There's a part in these bulletins, alright, where they give you examples of stuff to read from the Old and New Testament at the very bottom here, which I really like. It means it's just there's something different to talk about and different stuff to read about anytime you get like spare time on your hands. And speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, one of my drawings actually is now part of the top right corner of the bulletin. Do you see that? That's something. That's I'm glad they did that. I'm really, really glad they did that. Well, they actually came towards me and they asked me to do that as well. So it is what it is. So now I think really it's sort of like where we're getting to the point of exactly what I wanted to share you guys. Exactly why it's taken me so long to actually, publish a video publicly, and what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, the first thing is that you remember how I was saying about, my diet and all that and all this stuff about, doing things extra for Lent? Well, aside from, giving up foodstuffs and all that, because even though gyms are still out of bounds because of, the pandemic, I have had to resort to doing some very intense and making the most out of the space I have to do exercise here at home and everything else. And all of this is accumulated because one of the ideas that I had for my resolutions, there are a lot of stuff on this thing, chief among which is always remember to smile. But one of the biggest ones up there is to lose 6 stone in weight. Now, just to give you an idea about what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that when this all began, on the first of this year, I weighed exactly 16 stone, meaning 101 kilograms. I think that's like something like 224 pounds, I think. As of certainly of this date, so well, the last time I checked was on Sunday. I get myself like weighed each Sunday, I believe. Well, I believe I should know this. The last time I checked, I was 15 stone 6.5, and to be honest, I even got at one point this year down to 15 stone. But it's all like the shock of what happened started like take over, and then I started like eating larger portions again, and it didn't work out for the best, unfortunately. So my weight went down and then up again, but now it's sort of like going downwards, and there's more of a very specific reason why I want to keep it down. Mostly because of the exercises I've been putting in. You could see the exercise bike in the corner. Also because, well, here's just me standing up normally and just... I know it does not look that impressive at the moment, but then again, about 7-8 weeks ago, I did not have this advantage as well. Now, I don't know exactly how well you actually are able to see this, but there's sort of like one ab going on here, and then there's another one going on down here as well. And you can't technically see here because mostly this part is just kind of like fat, but this is the closest I've ever gotten so far to ever getting myself a six-pack. It's because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually able now, a few days ago I managed to do this, I'm actually now able to do 100 sit-ups in one day. Basically, I say a day, every workout hour I have a day, I managed to do 100 sit-ups. Bloody agony, mind you. I got up from this very spot believing I had broken my back. I am not even joking. The pain was so substantial that the only thing I thought to do was to either lie down or just sit in my chair. I'm actually like sit in my chair, put the food bar back, and just rest my legs because I was in agony. It was like very difficult to like bend forwards, for example, to like pull the food bar underneath my chair. But you know what, as they say, no pain, no gain, and that's. I didn't think it would be this much pain. I must be honest. I unanticipated the pain that would have to be endured. But you know what, you do what you gotta do, and I know I can guarantee you, fine, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a very wild assumption that my calorie intake for this last week has been something like about, like 1,150 a day or something like that. And I have a lot of confidence in what I believe I can do to reduce this further again. But do I want to reduce it further and do more exercise? But even though this could lead to probably an injury, something a little bit more serious, because I used to do like a lot of stuff on my feet, and then I had to I took my shoes off, and then I had this awful like crumbling pain in my feet. It was as though like the sides were being viced together. It was hell, and it's only really started to go away today. So, and I had this pain for like the last 2.5 days, and I don't really want to have this again in a hurry. So that's that, and well, I know we've got a lot. We even though we're only like 1/6 of our way through this year, there's a lot of this year to go, and there's a lot of stuff that can happen, but for the most part, there's a lot of stuff I want to have happen through my own initiative and graft and hard work. One in particular is at the very, very top of this list. That is to make over 1,000 videos and publish them all live on the day of my big return, which is the 1st of the 1st, 2022. That is the biggest review I wanted to let you guys in on right now, is that on that day, I will probably go down in history. I've been even thinking for a long time to contact the Guinness Book of World Records for how many videos can be published or published in just one day. And if there is any, any weight to this claim, then I'll simply go ahead and do it. Because nobody's ever done that sort of thing before in history. Nobody. And could you imagine? I would break the server. I would actually break this YouTube server for maybe at best an hour. But could you imagine, they'll be wondering, who the hell's done this? We're trying to watch the fireworks display. Who the hell has done this? We're celebrating COVID coming to an end worldwide, or at least in most of Europe. What the hell is going on? Also, of course, Israel has the things under control as well. So good job to you guys there. I would love to see, because the idea I had is that I was going to upload those 1,000 videos. Well, at the rate we're going right now, it could be well over more than 1,000. I'll explain this in a moment. And then I was going to completely disable all notifications for my YouTube account and stuff like that, just so that when I get signed back in, I want to see exactly what people have got to say. I want to see what happens when you upload over 1,000 videos in one day and then you don't check anything until 30 days have passed. Because what better day to check it out than my birthday? It will be my 24th birthday, of course, but it will be something. I mean, will people even have a clue what's been going on? Because I hardly suspect that sort of thing will go unnoticed, but whether or not people understand why or what I was thinking of doing this. So, you may remember me saying earlier that maybe it'll be 1,000, maybe a lot more. It's because, including this video I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, you want to find out how many videos I've actually made this year so far? 337. And we're not even at the end of February. Which means that by if my maths are anything to go by, that's still 663 videos just to get to the designated target of 1,000. I need to turn that off. My thing's making noises at me again. That's it. I mean, okay, I'll tell you what. If we go on the record that I'm averaging maybe 330 videos a month, well, every 2 months. So we do, what's 330 times by 6? That's 1,980. Whether or not I can actually get that to 2,000 is a very questionable sort of decision. But then again, the goal isn't really to get it to 2,000. It's to get to 1,000. You know, let's walk before we could run. You know what I'm saying? So you may be wondering to yourselves exactly why am I telling all of you this, guys, now? Is because one plan behind 1K one day, or otherwise known as Operation Atlas Rising, is that I've got to create a campaign. I've got to generate spontaneous interest in what is going to be a very spontaneous moment in history. Well, you get the idea anyway. I want to, like, just alert that something enormous was coming, or something very big was beginning to happen. I want to really go out of my way to do stuff like that, and then when the moment comes, and just imagine just like here's like a balloon, and this is called tension, by the way, and pop, just to see what happens. I would love to know more than anything about what some of you guys are thinking of perhaps right now about this, because in some ways maybe you haven't even gone to this part of the video yet. In some ways maybe you couldn't really care less either, and again, it's not my job to get you to care or anything like that. I'm just saying these things and just see what the response is going to be. And with that being said, because here is, it's like 3 pages of resolutions. Because I wanted to think, I mean, doing 1,000 videos for YouTube is bold in of itself, and losing 6 stone in weight, if I was to lose 6 stone, then it would mean by the end of this year I would weigh exactly 10 stone, which is all right in itself, but it means losing 40% of my weight, and I'm not even sure if I'll even be allowed to, you know, not go, if I wouldn't be allowed to, you know, just go to hospital if you lose something like that, regardless of metabolism or whatever. But with the rest of it, I want to make this whole establishment a reality, a business almost, as it were, where I can just, I mean, look at some of the people who are on YouTube right now. Think about the stuff they're doing, the stuff you see on trending. They have stuff like, I went into a McDonald's once, and he gets like 2 million views in a couple of hours. Why can't, I know fine, well, it seems a bit daft, but I could put so much more into my work, my graft and my work, that even though it may not be, you know, on the level of, you know, sponsored by corporations or stuff like that, I could be an entirely different section altogether of the internet. I know it's maybe wishful thinking, but you know what? It's not a wish, it's a dream. That's what I have. This dream is my reality. I'm blending the two in so perfectly that not only do I know for a fact that I can do this if I just get on with it, but that it's going to happen. That's the point I want to emphasize, is that this is going to happen. And when you have that much confidence that this is going to happen, what else do you need? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Something to tell your grandkids about, but most definitely. But you know what? I've seen people around me right now, people I've known for a while, who are getting engaged, people who are moving on to fantastic jobs, people who are really, really setting themselves up in life. And I want to be able to do the exact same thing. I want to establish where it is I actually belong on this earth, and what exactly it is I'm even meant to be doing with my life. Because I've got every single resource that I think anybody would have killed to get. All I need to do now is to do it. There's one obstacle in this way, and that is the blue-shirted, ball of flesh who's starting to get something of a very strange-looking mullet grow behind him. There's a lot more to come, ladies and gentlemen, and I can at least take some gratification and some kind of appraisal in the fact that this is all being done by basically one person. So, with that being said, I'll maybe come back to you guys and talk when I get to maybe June, or maybe halfway into this year will be the good time to talk again, because I cannot wait to see exactly what I've managed to come up with by the time we get to that point. I cannot wait, and maybe some of you guys cannot wait either. So I hope to see all of you guys again in the very near future. Take care. Bye-bye for now.